you in Gripland. This is episode 101 of This Week in Grip. I hope you guys all enjoyed our special 100th episode with Juji Mufu. And if so, we would truly appreciate a like and a share. And please comment below on that and today's episode. Today, and as always, I'm joined by Alan Heineck. And we have a special guest today, a super strong, super versatile strength athlete with a superhuman grip, Mr. Joel Dirks. And they are going to talk about their recent event, the Twin Cities Strongest Hands, held at Torque Barbell in Woodbury, Minnesota. Joel, welcome to This Week in Grip.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure, you know. We've all been watching sort of a lot of your feats of strength for a while, and, you come up frequently, especially when we talk about shallow hubbing or inch dumbbell lifting. Pinch stuff, so you got a pretty versatile grip.
Yeah, and it all just comes from training strongman, and maybe a little bit of genetics, but my biggest thing is anytime I'm at a gym, and I love going to new gyms, is like I go and seek out like different things I can try, and one of the things Alan's always said to me is you can go into any gym and do this stuff. Like, you don't have, one special equipment that's, all chalked up perfect or something like that. So I love being able to go try different stuff and just really testing my grip.
Yeah, and that's what's cool. It's like, when you have that sort of enthusiasm about it, and I think a lot of things with grip, too, is that there's just so many things that you can try to do and things that you can, you set goals to do, like shallow hubbing a plate, or pulling 350 plus on an axle, or lifting the inch dumbbell, or pinching 245s. There's all these little gradients along the way. So yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah,
or even you go to a different gym and everyone's got different plates. Everyone's got different types of dumbbells. There's hex dumbbells. There's all the round ones, the old school York dumbbells. There's such a variety of different things that every different gym has that you can just always try something or make something up.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think, with anything, it takes curiosity and a little ingenuity and hard work, and it's if you're passionate about it, you can make some pretty amazing things happen. So speaking of amazing things, well, go ahead.
It's always fun too to try that stuff, and then you're with people or other people are there and they kind of see you doing it and getting them to try it. Like, hey man, just try this.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the way that you really grow something like grip too. Is it's like, here's this feat of grip strength, and especially if you have guys that you train with on a regular basis, you say, hey, come over here and just try to pinch these two 35-pound plates together. And they look at it and they think, well, yeah, I mean, that should be easy, right? And then they go to do it and they're like, wait a second, do that again? You know what I mean? So that's a good way to get guys hooked too.
People really have no idea when it comes to that stuff. You'll see, like Joel, for example, pinching 325s and making it look easy. And people will look at that and they'll say, well, that's just 75 pounds. What's the big deal, right? There's just no clue what goes into some of that. No, it's really deceptive. I love seeing that.
One of the things that I don't know, you came up in one of the episodes, Joel. We were talking about people cleaning the inch bell, and I know Carl Myerscough did a pretty rough clean of the inch dumbbell recently, and Jedd has done it, and I brought your name up because I've seen you manhandle that thing, and I'm wondering if that's a goal of yours in the future.
Yeah, man, what was it? Probably 2014, like LA Fit Expo, we had double, for the strongman contest, we had double dumbbells where you had to clean them, and you got more points if you could double clean it at the same time and then press it. And so we were training it, and so we had a special one made that was 135 pound, inch replica, but it was only 135, but same size handle. And I could do that super easy. And the inch, I could get really close, but my mobility is terrible in my upper body. So I would have to essentially clean it above my head to get it into a position where I could get my elbow underneath it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So you'd rather do that than work on your mobility?
Okay, let me rephrase that. So I had shoulder surgery in 2001.
Okay.
The surgery was called like anterior capsular shift, and so like in football, I got injured, and so they took and they cut through the shoulder, pulled the pec muscle tight over, and then the shoulder muscle over, and then they sewed it in 2 spots. So it's really tight. So it's supposed to be really tight.
Oh wow.
So maybe that gives you a little bit better idea. But I definitely try to work on my mobility. But I'll try it. I'm definitely going to give it a try next time I go over to Dave Austin's house and try it.
That would be great. I would look
gotta
forward
get that on
to
video.
seeing your attempts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
even if I don't make it, I'll video it.
Sure. I think all 3 of us have a pretty good understanding of what shoulder surgery does to mobility. Don't we, Alan?
No doubt about it. Yeah. I tell you, once you're in your 40s too, mobility is a losing battle almost. It's like it's just tough. It's easier to keep it than to try to get it back.
Well, I hope not. If that's the case, then I'm screwed. I'm going to be pretty rigid in my old age.
Oh, I'm definitely stiffening up. So, yeah.
Joel, how old are you anyway? I'm curious because I've seen you got like a. Go ahead.
I'm 36.
36, okay. Because you have quite a following there on Instagram. What do you attribute that to?
Mostly, like doing strongman stuff, and then like for a while I was sponsored by like 5% Nutrition, and like I did like a video with Rich Piana and stuff like that. So that gained a huge following, and Rich gave me a shout out on his page, and different people have given me shout outs on the page, like Braun Strowman, who used to do strongman, like his real name's Adam Scher. We worked out together one time. He posted me up, and that got me a whole bunch of followers. And then I'm always posting different stuff too. I think that's huge. Like if I just post like bench and squat, it's boring to people. They can do that.
Yeah. It's when you're versatile and creative and all that. I think it's a good thing. And I think I remember at one point Brian Shaw giving you a shout out. He had done some feat of strength. Yeah, and somebody was mentioning, other names of people that might be able to do, and they said, what about Joel Dirks? And he had said something like, yeah, I could see that actually. So.
Oh yeah, so I've competed against Shaw a few times, and we still text, and he's always hit me up about different grip stuff. So when they're doing this, when they're actually filming the Strongest Man in History, he was messaging me when they were trying the double York deep dish, just pinch grip. He was messaging me. He was asking me how many people ever did it, and we were trying to figure out. I had messaged Jedd and Alan, like trying to figure out how many people, so that way he could say the right thing on TV.
Yeah, well,
that's what that was about.
So now it'll make sense how I own.
Okay.
Yeah, he had said there was 5, but I kind of feel like there's been more than that, right? I mean, I know obviously him and Eddie Hall just did it on the show, but
what I think he meant was when he originally asked me, they had done a double. They had one in each, or two plates in each hand, and he said Eddie got it, and then he did too many attempts with the one hand at a time, and I had told him that I think less than 5 have ever done a double.
Okay. Yeah, that I would agree with. Yeah, that does sound right. Because I mean, I'm trying to think. Chad Woodall, Jedd, Yuha, maybe Harju.
I don't know that I've seen him do it, but it's probably more for lack of access to the plates, maybe.
Yeah. Wow, somebody else would probably have more info on that, but yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. So you have this following, and you put up all these great grip-related videos and strength-related videos, and you guys had an event recently called Twin Cities Strongest Hands. So tell us how that went.
Sure. So, Alan and I talk every once in a while. We just hit each other, or send us some grip stuff that I do, and ask them, if this is good, because I have no idea what's on like certain grip stuff. You have no idea like what's really good or what's bad. So we're always talking. And I was like, hey man, let's put on a contest. Like there's not enough. There's nothing going on around here. And I was like, I can get some guys to do this. And so he's like, yeah, we can do this. And so we talked it out, and I was hoping Alan could compete, but he had his surgery not too long ago. So I was like, Alan, you pick the events, because I don't want to pick the events like because I want to compete in the contest, but maybe we'll make some of them similar to King Kong, so like the training kind of overlaps.
Yeah.
So we were going to do 5 events, came up with 4 just because we started getting more and more people signed up for the contest. And so we did the Crusher, the Flask, the Iron Mine Hub, and the Iron Mine double overhand axle deadlift. We had about 18 guys compete, so which is huge for a grip contest.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was able to get a whole bunch of sponsors too, so everyone walked away with prizes, which was awesome. Everyone walked away with at least a T-shirt, a hat, some kind of supplement, or straps and wraps and contraband. And
that's awesome. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. We need more sponsorship too. So that's great. That's excellent.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is getting these people excited about this, and now it's going to be such an easy sale to get them to do King Kong. Like, hey man, like why wouldn't I sign up? I get a shirt, I get some prizes, I get to compete, I get to be ranked in the world, stuff like that. So,
sure. So I guess King Kong is on your radar then, huh?
Yeah. So it had originally been at Allen's, and just not many people signing up. I think. Yeah. What did you have last year, Allen?
My turnout's been terrible. I had 3, and that was spread over 2 separate days. And so what Joel's saying is I've never had a good turnout at King Kong, and how it works out is I'll have nearly 3 times the amount of people indicate to me that they're coming, and then they just bail or flake out entirely. So yes, Joel has been a steady competitor at my place with the success of what just happened at Twin Cities Strongest Hands. When he suggested we do it up there, I kind of kicked it around for just a minute. I thought, he's like literally half my competitors. Let's just do it up that way. We get a better turnout, more people, and it was just logical. And I think that's the better way. Apparently nothing's happening up my way. So move it up there, grow the sport a little bit better. It gets more people interested in it, more participants, and I think it's just better all around. So
Sure. Did you have to bring your own sort of plates that you weighed yourself on a postal scale up there?
I did. I brought what I did was I have Eleiko calibrated plates, so I brought those up, and then all my implements. And beforehand, what I had done just to keep the math easy, and I think it worked out really good. And Joel and I can talk about that here in a little bit. But I calibrated all of my implements so that they were kind of in nice round numbers. For example, the hub assembly was set up at 2.5 kilograms. I had the whole flask complete at 5, the crusher at 7.5, and then I had the axle literally set up at 20 kilograms. So we could just add and go, and there was none of these weird, 2.16, increment crap. It just made the math clean, and I think it worked out really good. What did you think, Joel?
Oh, absolutely, man. And you don't get enough credit for the time you invested to do all the math, to weigh everything, to get everything super precise, to make that contest run as smooth as it did, and have all the numbers so easy, that we're not trying to calculate, what's 20.468 kilograms,
Yeah, that would have absolutely been a nightmare, especially with the amount of competitors that we had. So my one takeaway, the one thing I would have done differently, I was really happy with our event selection. And the one thing I would do differently is with regards to the flask is make it so we could load it 2 plates on a side at once, because the constant, take apart and reassembly with all our incremental jumps, that was a bit of a nightmare. Things kind of started running smoother in the later events. So I think I'll commission maybe Luke Raymond to come up. He already makes like a crossbar kind of setup that goes over a loading pin, which is really intended for people that are lifting a ton of weight on things. And something like that makes the loads a little bit easier. That way I can just add on, and I'm not constantly uncoupling and recoupling. So, and make it a little bit easier. But, that's my intention with King Kong anyway, once we get that going. So,
awesome.
No, I think we ran good. And, all we did was we would call out weights. We, auction style, like 1, 2, 3. All right, no one wants that. Weight's going up. And it went really quick. Surprisingly, for having 18 guys, we took 4 hours, so an hour per event.
Oh, that's that's extremely quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it helped. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. That's fine.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, with Alan having the weights set up perfect to easily go like that, and then having the calibrated plates, and being able to just call them off. Everybody wants this, nope, and then just jumping and just going. and we were in such a nice area where everyone would just come up, quick go, that it made things really quick, which is great.
That's cool. That's really cool. So, Alan, I guess to reiterate what Joel is saying, you're the man.
Correct.
Well, I tried. I wanted things to go really smooth, but you know what? I mean, Joel absolutely gets a lot of credit too, because we did a lot of this remotely. We're nearly 3 hours apart.
Sure.
So I'm just kind of here in Wisconsin. So he had to line everything up there, but he handled, obviously, and we need to talk more about this. He lined up the gym. He got together the sponsors, and he did a boatload of promoting for it. So ultimately, I mean, I really didn't bring anybody with me. I just showed up with the plates and stuff, and more or less tried to help run things.
Anybody with you?
Yeah, that's funny. That's literally funny that you say that, because I had the car all loaded up, and I just sent my wife a picture of it as a joke, because the bumper was just about dragging on the ground, and she works for a car dealership. So she informed me how grossly overloaded the car was, and I thought, you know what, whatever, just leave me alone, it's fine. And then I started looking, it was like, it was vastly overloaded. I had to pull I had to pull a couple 100 kilograms of crap out of there. I wanted to make it really easy and have tons of stuff so we could make really, really good jumps, and I just had to pare things down. I couldn't bring all that I wanted. So it worked out fine, but it a lot of planning in that part anyway. So.
Yeah, that's a good way to basically say to everyone, say to the world, I'm driving alone, and if you want to come with me, you have to drive on the roof, essentially.
Yeah.
So how did each event go?
Really good. I think the biggest thing is and Alan will agree, is I was not expecting people to hit the numbers they did. The numbers were really high.
Okay.
So
absolutely.
With the flask. Yeah, so the flask, I think the most I've ever done is like a little over 100, like 46 and a half or something like that, 40 or 40, a little over 46.
I think Jedd's got Jedd's up he's up around 120 on that, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 122 or 121, somewhere in that range.
Yep.
But yeah, so like I was expecting to be able to hit hundreds. But yeah, Grant hit a little over 100, I think 101.
Oh wow,
Grant,
okay. Wow.
He's a strongman guy, amateur strongman.
Was this his first time on the flask?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think he'd ever seen it before, because he was asking about it after the fact, because he was thinking about picking one up.
Well, that is super impressive, because anyone that's been in this for a while that's put their hands on the flask a bunch of times, it's like it's pretty tricky implement, especially at first. It's not easy to chalk. It's I don't know how the humidity was there inside of Torque Barbell, but a lot of times it's very difficult to chalk the flask, to get any flask to stick to it. So if it wasn't well chalked, and it was his first time lifting on it, to go over 100 pounds is no one else has done that before, I don't think.
It was a very impressive lift, no doubt about it. Yep. I think had he been more familiar with it, he could have got more, because that was literally his fourth attempt, and he nailed that on even. So,
wow.
Some guys were definitely leaving a little bit on the table. Yeah.
Wow, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and that's the only thing is you have to be so precise about your jumps and on your game, and know what numbers to call to hit and what to skip and all that.
Sure. Yeah, and rising bar with something like the flask too is like you could get a weight and then go up a pound, and then the thing feels like it's glued to the ground. So
and that's the thing with the competition of this size. What my thinking was is to keep things moving along. That's where we set our minimum jumps. And for the flask and the hub, we set it at 1.25 kilograms. And the crusher in the axle, the crusher was 2.5 kilograms, and the axle was a 5 kilogram jump. So a 2.5 pound jump can be a ton on that. And I was looking my thought was to wash some people out, kind of weed the competitors out, but also make sure that people could actually hit and get a couple of good solid attempts in and get their names up. So I think that was a pretty good number to work with. Definitely wouldn't have wanted to go heavier than that. So I thought that was a pretty good number for that.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Yeah. So how did it pan out in the flask in the overall?
So Grant hit 46.25. So he got first. I hit 45. Ken Kuyoff, he hit 41.25. So what is that? A little over 90. 91.
Yeah, still a good lift. Yeah,
somewhere in that range. Yeah, so still good weight, man. I mean, anything over 90 is very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen anybody who's pinched 90 or above that can't pinch 245s, for example. So that, on the flask, like if you can pinch 90 and above, pretty much it's like the same width as 245s, like two thinner 45s. So pulling 90 and above on that it's a really good lift.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Next we hit the crusher. Alan made sure that thing was spinning good, and it was spinning good.
Yeah.
So what did we make? What were the jumps on that? Were they 5 kilos?
Yeah, 2.5 kilograms on the crusher.
Sorry, that's what I meant. 2.5 kilograms, 5 pounds, a little over 5. So yeah, so that one, a lot of people hit some pretty good numbers. What was there? There was 3 of us that hit 90. Myself, Ulyss, and Ken all hit 90 on the crusher.
That's impressive. Yeah, 90 kilograms on that.
That was actually
there were 4 of us.
Yes, and that about Grant, he his opener on that was actually 80, and then he jumped to 90. So he was that shows you the kind of lack of familiarity with some of that. So he was taking some monstrous jumps, and so again, I think he left a little bit out there too. Yeah. So
sure.
Real impressive.
I'm curious as to where Ulyss ended up, because these guys told me about him and I started following him on Instagram. I mean, that guy he's essentially like an oak tree. I mean, he's
a mammoth human.
Yeah. Yeah. Where did he end up on the crusher?
Crusher, he hit 90. Yep.
90. Okay.
And he's hit. I want to say he's hit like 205, if not a little bit more, on the crusher.
I think he's hit around in there. Yeah. Which is that's a big number on the crusher.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, who was? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So myself, Ulyss, Grant, and Ken all tied for first with 90. What happened is we went from 90 to 92.5. Nobody wanted it, so I skipped it too, and we all went 95, and none of us got it.
Oh, okay. You kicking yourself for not going 92.5?
Yes, absolutely, because it was there, because I was real close on 95, but I don't have the power for that. But 92.5 would have been hit, but at the same time, if they would have hit 95, it would have been pointless anyways.
That's true. A little gamesmanship.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If it's not unlimited rising bar and you only get 4 attempts, and the competition goes up, sometimes you have to go with them, and it makes it tough.
That's true. Very true. Very true. So that's how the crusher panned out.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
The next week we hit the hub. That thing was working well that day. Everyone was hitting great numbers. What do we have?
I was really surprised by the hub numbers that some people were hitting on that. That was some really solid performances. You wound up getting over 70 pounds on that, didn't you? 75 maybe?
Yeah, my last attempt I did 75. A little over 75. But we had over half the field, like 9 guys, do over 50 pounds.
That's great.
And
one of the strong hands up there.
Anything over 45 is great.
Well, and one of these competitors, he was he not 15 or 16?
Yes.
One guy was a minor. I can't remember his age, but he was a young guy, but seriously strong.
He's like 15. He's gonna be a sophomore in high school. Ian is his name. Yep.
Jeez. How do you build up hand strength at that age like that? What do you? I mean, you're up in Minnesota. What do you build snowmen? Like how do you
shovel?
You shoveling? Is that what it is?
It's shoveling.
All right. Well, that's a strong kid. Okay.
Absolutely.
Sophomore in high school. All right.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of such a young guy pulling that kind of number. That's just absolutely insane. Yep.
I know. It's pretty nuts. So, so you ended up winning it though, Joel?
Yeah, that one. There was a pretty big gap on that one. I hit 33.75, so it was like 75 something, and then I think second was 32.5. So whatever that.
Yep, Grant got that one.
2.5. Yeah, so there's about a 5-pound difference. So he must hit close to 70, which is really good.
Oh yeah, that's phenomenal. that's a really good lift.
Yep, they are, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Wow. So.
Yeah, so two of us got over 30, and then there was, almost 9 guys over 25 kilograms.
Okay, so that's over 55. Wow,
kilograms.
Yeah,
these were good.
58-ish.
The kilogram thing, or weight business, that kind of screwed some people up too, I think. And we talked about this after the fact, because we're kind of going back and forth between kilograms and pounds. And I didn't think that was going to be, well, it wasn't a terrible issue, but I didn't think it was going to be as difficult as it wound up being. So for King Kong, we're going to handle some things differently, so that way people can look at a glance. But we had some audience participation there in the end, though, because when it came to, kilograms and people were kind of wondering what it was, there was at least one lady there that was with, I think it was Grant's significant other, as a matter of fact. It was calling out quickly what some of those conversions were. So that was pretty useful.
So 10 guys over 55 pounds on the hub.
Wow. I can't remember an event, especially like, a local event like that, where the numbers were this high across the board. So, wow.
It was surprising, and these guys don't even train grip. They're just strong.
Strong up there. Yeah.
Truthfully, like the hub was the only one me and my group actually like kind of trained a bunch, and that's reflected in the numbers too. But I mean, I probably did one session with the axle, and then I don't have a crusher or a flash. I mean, we did a little bit of rolling thunder, but the rolling thunder we have is like it barely rolls. It's not. I mean, but like Alan says, it's probably like everyone else's, but I mean, it's definitely gunked up.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I used to go. My exposure to the rolling thunder was I used to go to this gym here in Charlotte that had one. And, it was back when I was arm wrestling and stuff. And I worked that thing up to like 230 something. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, I'm looking at some of the numbers these guys are putting up. I was like, really? I was like, that's it? And then, I didn't realize how much they varied. Like this one barely rolled. And then when I started getting on newer model Rolling Thunders, that number got knocked down considerably. We'll put it that way.
Oh, huge.
So,
huge.
Yeah,
the one we have, I don't even weigh it because it's kind of a joke. But I put on 260 pounds in plates and do it. But say like a good Rolling Thunder, 230 is really tough. Like a great day, I'll hit 230 on a good handle.
Well,
so I mean, there's a 30-pound difference.
Sure, yeah, and 230 is a phenomenal lift on a Rolling Thunder too. So
absolutely,
wow. Yeah. Hey, you know what I'm curious about? Are you sort of equal with both hands on thick bar?
Pretty close. I'm right-handed, but like say a one-hand thick bar, my left hand seems to be better. Okay.
So can we look forward to a double Thomas Inch Bell Farmer's Walk from you anytime soon?
And we've talked about it, and every time I always go over to Dave Austin's house, it's always like winter or crappy outside. And in the summer, he's always at the cabin, and life's busy for everyone. And so I got to get over there. I got to do one. The only thing, and I'll tell everyone, like his his inch dumbbells, one's like 168 and like a mid 160. So they're not true like 172s, but not very many of them are.
Well, you know, it's
like,
interesting. I was talking to.
Well, go ahead. Steve Allen's is actually like pretty heavy.
Yeah,
mine's 176. Yep.
Yeah.
But you lifted that like it was nothing, and that was after King Kong last year, if you remember.
Yeah.
You bent down and picked that up, real easy.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, to tell you the truth, I was talking to Steve Weiner a couple of weeks ago at Slim the Hammerman's thing, and he was telling me that he's had a chance to lift the actual Thomas Inch dumbbell that Kim Wood has. For those that don't know, Kim Wood was the strength and conditioning coach for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he has the original Thomas Inch replica. I mean, the bell, rather, not the replica. And according to Steve, it's not as difficult as the replicas. Like he had said, like the replicas that he had tried to lift in the past were all more difficult than the actual Thomas Inch bell. So little known fact.
No, that would be so awesome to try. To have a video or a picture with that thing, historic.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So
Joel,
did you guys? Well, go ahead.
If you do farmer's walk, you have to make sure you do it farther than Jedd did. Really get under his skin.
He did decent to Arnold. He made 3/4 of the way, didn't he?
I can't remember how.
Well, hold on. Him and Adam Glass walked it like almost the same distance, right?
Yeah, I don't even remember. The last time I saw Jedd did some, I think I can't remember when he posted it. It was a while ago. He walked them ways. I guess I thought Adam Glass took him farther, but I can't remember.
Like a foot or so, right? Wasn't it like really close? I thought it was pretty comparable, but I think you're right. I think Adam walked him a little bit further.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Felix crushed it.
Oh, and he just set the record again for the Hercules hold the other day.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys saw that. So.
Oh, yeah. What, a minute and a half or something like that?
Yeah. He looked bored for a while up there. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. It was easy to get a picture. Got a minute and a half to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the axle, did you guys have any trouble calling lockouts, or was that not an issue?
I thought it went well.
Alan was in front. I was behind. I was working the scoring sheet, and Alan's up front. No, I think I was surprised by the numbers in that too.
Okay.
Yes, we had some really good numbers.
Well, that's good. That's good. So were there any kind of disputes over calls, anything like that? Because I know that's been a big issue with lockout lately at grip events. So it's the only reason I bring it up.
I thought it went good. There was one guy, he definitely went down fast, but he recognized it right away and stepped back and took another pull, and it was more formality than anything. He easily had the first one. There was plenty left, but that was it. I thought everything else went good. The lockouts, they were definitely more of a challenge though than the crossbar events. I'll definitely say that. Yeah. So there's some real trick to that, really. I think that just comes with experience, something I definitely need to work on. But I thought it went really well, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. It helped. We went over the rules. We explained everything to a precise. You got to wait for the down call. You got to follow it down. It's just exactly like powerlifting style. So I don't know. Everyone there, it was, a seasoned lifter, so they understood it.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did it pan out? How did the results go in the axle? I'm curious to know.
Sure. So I think we had 8 guys go over 150 kilos, so 330.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And then nothing against Jules. I was expecting him to hit a big number. He got to 180. He didn't really train for this contest. He's been doing some other stuff. But, so he hit 180.
Okay.
Grant hit 190. Ken hit 180. And then I hit 195 my last attempt. And then after that attempt, we threw on 200 kilos, and I got that, which is a PR for me.
Okay, so that would have been 197.5 kilos?
No, we at the fifth and unofficial attempt, it was 200 kilos on the head. So he hit 440.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So in contest, my last attempt I hit 195. So that's like 429 or something like that.
Okay.
And then the last
that
attempt,
would sound right.
Yeah, and then an unofficial attempt after being the bar was loaded, we just threw on 5 more kilos and I hit a 440. So that was exciting because I've never hit that before, contest or training.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a huge number on the axle.
That is a huge number. Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and Grant had a good one on that too. He hit 190.
190, yeah. So a lot of these guys, man, I mean, they hit great numbers. I mean, even Ken at 180, so what's that, 396?
I was about to say, how many 400-pound axle pullers are there out there? You know?
It's not a lot.
3 of them in a building, that's pretty, for what was amounting to a local grip competition. You guys had some beasts in there. You guys
I was real impressed, and personally, my axle doesn't see a lot of use, so it's shiny. It's not seasoned by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
And
it's silver still.
Yes, and I thought I think some of the guys actually really liked the texture of it, but I thought that was going to be a handicap. Personally, I thought people were going to see, just not make some of the weights that they were expecting to. So I was really happy with the results on that one.
Sure. Well,
yeah, one of the really results in the axle that kind of stuck out, Adam Cohn, he's a 105 guy, and he hit 175.
175. Okay, I'm doing that. Doing that. So wow, yeah, that's jeez.
I was really impressed by him in particular. But the one thing is that when the guys were pulling on the axle, some of those guys, like you in particular, Joel, and even Adam, when you were pulling those weights, form never broke down, even as you were hitting the high ends of what grip strength was going to be. And I was really impressed by that. Sometimes you see some people start doing some really crazy things, and that just looked like warm-up weights. When you guys were hitting those, I was really impressed with some of the technique involved in that.
Yeah, sometimes in grip you'll see is with some of the smaller guys especially, is being they're not as strong, their back will give out before their grip.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just about to say it probably comes from a lot of actual just deadlifting. The fact that you guys were so clean with your lockouts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've talked to Alan about this before, and before he had a surgery, I just talked about how he just work on overall strength first before and
Definitely.
then adding some grip stuff in there, but focusing more on that overall strength. I think that's going to help your grip in general.
I would agree.
Yes. Yep. That was a conversation we had at King Kong, and then in private messaging. Joel, as a matter of fact, gave me some good advice for bringing up the back strength and glutes in particular and stuff, and things I've definitely paid attention to. So it's a real wealth of knowledge there. So definitely get a lot out of it just watching the videos. But yep.
As was brought up very recently, Joe Kinney used to squat 440 for 60 reps every morning, right? So.
Are you familiar with Joe Kinney, Joel?
I know the name. I don't know the stories.
Okay, well, he was I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll leave we won't let any trash make it over to your YouTube channel. So we'll, the trolling can stay with Jedd. If you want to, there was a great thread on the grip board about it recently, though. It's worth looking into and forming your own opinion, but it won't make you commit to anything here.
Well, let me ask you, Joel, just out of curiosity, does 440 for 60 reps sound feasible to you?
No.
He did that this morning, I suppose.
No, so the squats for breakfast workout, 440 times 60 every day of the week doesn't sound reasonable?
The only crazy thing I've ever heard and know that's been true is I don't know the guy's last name. He went by Sarge, and he's from like Washington, he used to train with Jesse Morande, and he tried to squat 225 for 100, and he got to like 98, and that was it. And that's supposedly a true story.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
terrible.
awful.
That must have been good for some yakking in the end.
Yeah,
holy crap!
But this guy was like a military, like a Secret Service, like military type guy. You know, like just very. You know, I could see where he has the intensity to do something like this.
Sure. Yeah. I trained a guy when I lived with a guy when I lived in Connecticut that was a former SEAL trainer over at Coronado, and he could get up on a bar and do more pull-ups than any person I've ever seen in my life. You know, and I arm wrestled for a long time, so I've seen and done a lot of pull-ups. But this guy could just go and go and go, and he just seemed impervious to the things that would naturally affect us. You know, but I haven't talked to him in a while. I would say 440 times 60 on the squat. He would probably he'd probably give a thumbs down to that, though.
Yeah.
So enough about that. Joe, what goals do you have when it comes to strength? Because I mean, I've seen you doing Highland Games stuff recently, obviously strongman stuff. You know, what is it that you'd still like to accomplish?
Man, like my mind's always everywhere. Like I'm always thinking about the next thing, my new thing. I want to put on contests, so I'm putting on. You know, we did the Twin City Strongs Hamilton Allen. Now we're gonna do the King Kong. We're gonna do Static Monsters, which is like more of a strongman thing. We got a seminar with Stan Efferding coming in town. So I'm doing more promotion stuff as like I can't really compete in strongman anymore. I can't hang with the big dogs. The weights are too ridiculous. You know, you get older and you just can't hang anymore. So,
sure.
So strongman's kind of over with, but I don't want to quit training it just because I love it so much. There's nothing better than testing yourself with real objects, not just bars and plates.
Sure. Like, I mean, I've seen you with Atlas stones and stuff. Do you have any goals when it comes to the stones? Is there something that you haven't hit yet, a mark you haven't hit?
No, nothing with stones. I just think it's such a cool event to train, and I usually would train stones. Train with Dave Austin, so and he's like one of the king of the stones. So it's just always fun to train with him. But I did a couple powerlifting meets. Now I've done like 3. I did one last August, and maybe I'll do one again in December. Like, no offense to anybody, powerlifting, like once you've done strongman, like powerlifting is kind of boring. You know, it's a lot of sitting, a lot of waiting. It's just plates versus the excitement of competing against other guys and new events and big crowds and, you know, traveling all over. But then the grip stuff, I consider myself kind of a grip nerd. I love it. I love like the little grip beats. I love being able to just pick up plates with one hand, stuff like that. You know, maybe you put a little spark in me. Maybe I'll really work on this double-inch farmers and a clean with one hand.
Yes.
If I clean, I'm going to press it for reps too. Okay.
Absolutely.
There you go.
That would be perfect.
That's what I mean. That's exactly.
Press it for reps.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I always talk about it, but I try awesome. He would tell me, and I know he would say it. If I told him I was going to clean it, he would say, "Well, you clean, you got to press it. Like that's just part of it. Like there's not just one. You stop there."
I said that same thing to Jedd.
Yeah.
I said, once you get it there, you got to go for it. You know.
You got to do it. You got to press it.
Yep.
So those would be some cool things to do. I'm really working with a bunch of guys at the gym right now. Some real young, real excited, motivated guys at the gym, trying to help them get into strength sports. I got one guy who's doing Isaac, who's getting into strongman. Just did his first show, and he's real excited, real good listener. And then another guy, John, who he's had some back injuries before, so I know exactly what he's going through. And getting him strong and going to do his first powerlifting meet the first week in August. So just a couple weeks from now, he's got his first ever powerlifting meet. And then I think that's my biggest motivation is helping these people and giving back and helping. I was so fortunate in the sense of I got to train with Dave Austin. At the time when I started training with Dave Austin, when I emailed him to like out of nowhere to like, hey man, I want to get into strongman. He just got third at World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
So for him to respond, to him to say like, yeah man, come up and train, like blew me away. Like unforgettable moment. We'll never take that for granted ever. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
and
to be able to train with him, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think that's the great thing about the internet too, you know, is the original sort of intention of the global village. It's like, you know, when I started training, you know, there wasn't like the whole internet thing, like forget it. You know, there weren't even message boards and stuff like that. So it was like, you know, you couldn't just reach out to the best in whatever it was and get a chance to train with him. It wasn't that easy, you know.
Yeah.
So it's cool that you sort of took the initiative to do that, and that he was so gracious to help you out. That's great.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, you imagine the third best at anything. Whatever your favorite thing in the world is, your hobby, your thing, the third best in the world, top, or just say even say top 5, you know, competitor, whatever. Like, he's like, yeah, man, come train with me. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So getting to train with him, and then what comes along with that is the other big names you get to train with. You know, you got Brian Shaw, you got Kevin Nee, you got all these guys coming up here to train with Dave.
Sure.
And then it gets me access into bigger shows. They're like, hey, Dave, we need another guy for the show. He's like, well, yeah, this guy who trains me, he's, you know, doing great. He's new strongman, whatever. Then that was my entry. So I was very fortunate. I was the exception, not the rule. I was so fortunate to have that and to learn from him. Because Dave, not only is Dave one of the best strongmen maybe ever, but he's without a doubt, in my opinion, the smartest strongman to ever live.
Oh, that's cool. That might even be better than being able to get with like the strongest man in the world, like the top strongman in the world, because it's like, I've always said this about arm wrestling too, like just because some guy is number 1 in the world doesn't even mean that he knows how to not just, you know, arm wrestle very well, but to teach it. You know, you want somebody who is phenomenal at it, but also can break it down and teach it to people, you know, and is analytical and technical.
Yeah, and he's so great that he's they call him like the encyclopedia strongman. He knows knows the history of strongman. He knows how to do every event. Like anytime, like, you know, we get a new contest, new event, it's figuring out, it's measuring, it's analyzing what's the best way to move this object. Not like you know, grab it and go, but we want to be proficient. We got 4 other events to go, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta save energy. You gotta conserve as much as you can to make sure that, you know, you can do the other things.
Stay healthy.
Sure. Yeah. So when did you decide that you wanted to get into strongman? Because I know you mentioned earlier something about football. So.
Sure. So like college, I was doing football and track. Once I was done there, wasn't going on or doing anything more, and I started coaching at the university, but I kept lifting at like the athlete weight room, and I was like, I seen the paper, the local paper. There was a strongman, Waseca County Fair, small, tiny, little strongman show that they're doing, and I was like, front page of the whatever sports section, like a guy pulling a semi, and I was like, I need to do that. Like I've always watched strongman on TV, and as a kid, I was like, that's what I should be doing. Like lifting is fun, but that is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Any interest in some of the other disciplines? I mean, we talked about Atlas stones, but what about like going and, you know, walking the actual Husafell stone like Brian Humsacker did, or going out to Scotland and lifting the Dinnies? I saw you doing some Dinnie training on your Instagram there.
Yeah, I think man, as my kid gets older and things get more easier to travel with, it would be so awesome to bring him with, and my wife, and go do that kind of those trips together as a family, and then take a little selfish hour or 2 out of the day and go pick up some stones and do that kind of stuff. That would be unbelievable.
Yeah, we plan on doing it next year. The wife is down. You know, our oldest son is going to take care of the fort here, and we're going out to Scotland. So we've already decided.
Oh, man.
We're going to make that
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. So, Alan, any more questions for Joel?
One last thing. I think this would benefit everybody, actually. So in terms of tracking down the sponsors, I've never seen anybody come up with the amount of different sponsors and get the kind of turnout that you did. How did you go about approaching these people?
Sure. A couple of the companies I already work with, like have sponsorships with them. But then I got different buddies. Pretty much just is reaching out to the people I know and taking advantage of that. And then companies I've worked with in the past, I put on a strongman show a few years ago, and reached out to companies, tell them what I'm doing, and exactly what I'm looking for. Don't just say like, hey, looking for some couple things, but I think it's taking time, making the initiative, and being direct, and say, hey, say fat grips. I have nothing to do with them. Don't know anybody to do with them. Said, hey, we're doing we're doing a grip contest. Would you be willing to give us some say four different fat grips to give out to some prize winners? So I have 10 different weight classes or whatever it was, and they say, yeah, absolutely, we'll send out four things of fat grips. Iron Mind's another one that you can reach out to. That they'll, especially if you're using their equipment, which we use 2 of their implements. They were very good about it. They send us 2 $50 gift cards, so $100 worth of from their site. So, very gracious.
That's great. That's great.
Cool. I kind of wondered about that because it was just a ton. I can't even remember how many sponsors there were. Whether it was Herb Strong, Contraband, Iron Mind, Fat Grips. I know I'm forgetting some, but I was just surprised by the amount.
I have my own brand too, so I gave some hats out. I got a buddy owned Savage all day 24/7 barbell. So he sent some shirts. Tiger Life Energy Drink. They sent out some shirts. Who else am I forgetting? Oh, Extreme Formulations, which Dave Austin has some ownership in. They're a protein. They got a post-workout, and then they have some aminos that they have, and he gave us some protein, so some people got that. I got a buddy, Dean Perrone, who works with Axe and Sledge, which is like a new really big supplement company with Seth Feroce. So they sent out one of every product that they have, one of every shaker, pop holder thing, koozie thing, and the whole works. So we had so much stuff. Couldn't thank them enough for sending us all that stuff.
Well, that's awesome.
Nice.
And that's good. It's good to have someone that that does the legwork like that too. I remember doing that when I put on arm wrestling events and stuff, and it's not easy work. So that's good. Good. Congratulations to you guys too for putting on a super event. And Joel, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate it. It's good talking to you guys. It's always fun to talk grip and the history of grip and different feats that are happening. So
awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot. It's been a lot of fun.
So, Alan, the show is yours.
All right. Well, that is it for episode 101 of This Week in Grip, the Twin Cities Strongest Hands recap. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below, and we'll be back next week with another one. We'll see you later.